Hello family, my name is Chris, I am your home gamer dad, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the time that I was an engineer following a rescue team aboard the Ishimura as we went through all the dark, scary hallways trying to figure out what happened to the crew, why are all these monsters running around trying to chase us, and importantly, what happened to my girlfriend. Through each dark hallway, after every heart-pounding jump scare, the choices you make with Isaac and the others in order to help them survive will be a tale of your own journey. Always remember, when playing Dead Space, the 2008 version, your mileage may vary. With the 2023 Dead Space now being released, I felt this was a good time to have a retrospective for the original Dead Space because I've spent a lot of time with this game. I've been in the Ishimura for countless hours on the PlayStation 3, on my Xbox 360, getting all the achievements, doing all the runs, the plasma cutter only run, absolutely one of my favorite, hard mode, extreme mode, so terrifyingly awesome and very difficult. And I just really wanted to kind of look back at it all and talk to you guys about it because it's a great game. Everything about this game is fantastic. And if you are a fan of survival horror, you need to play this game if you haven't already. If you're interested in watching me do a full playthrough of the original Dead Space on PlayStation 3, go check out my other channel, Metal Blade 427. I have all of my original Let's Plays on that channel. There's a card somewhere around here that you can click on to go check out that playlist. But it's a beginning to end run through for Dead Space. I collect all the things, I do as many upgrades as I can, going through the story, surviving the best of my abilities, and I really enjoyed playing it. Even if it was the 100th time that I played the game, it is still fantastic. And of course, all the footage that you're going to see of the game in this particular video will come from that playthrough. With that said, let's see what lies within the deep, cold, secluded corridors of the Ishimura. My top 5 reasons why I love Dead Space. Here we go. Number 1, the Dismemberment Mechanic was a new and terrifying way to deal with enemies. Dead Space was originally developed by Visceral Games, which unfortunately is no longer around, but they took their name and went hardcore into Dead Space because they made the dismemberment system or dismemberment mechanic or whatever it is you want to call it. Basically, the way that it works is that under normal circumstances, whenever you're fighting enemies in other survival horror games, you're always going to want to shoot for the head or maybe the upper torso or something like that, or just kind of pump enough bullets or whatever you have into them and they will go down. These are their weak points. These are the points that generally most gamers went for whenever they fought, whether it be zombies or undead or monsters or something along that ways. In Dead Space, the monsters you fight, the necromorphs, do not go down so easily. You can shoot them in the head all you want. You can knock off their head for all they care. They are still going to come after you. The way to defeat the monsters in this game is to dismember them limb by limb, piece by piece. And let me tell you, it is a bloody gore fest that is crazy, it is sickening, it is amazing. Prior to this, I don't think anybody has ever seen anything like that in a game. Yes, we've had our blood and guts and gore and everything like that from other games that came out prior to it. And again, we're back in 2008 here with this game. But this really leaned into the whole gore factor when attacking these enemies. And you could be swarmed by like 10, 15 of these guys at once. And then after you defeat 1 or 2, maybe like 5 more spawn in. So you're running around and you're dismembering them and you just have these piles and piles of like flesh and decaying mass just building up in front of you. And it is disgusting, but it is crazy. You can even pick them up with your telekinesis and fire their pieces back at them. Isaac even has a stomp ability where he takes his big old boot and goes smash, smash, smash. This is mostly used to break open like boxes and crates in order to find ammunition and other things to help you like survive here in the Ishimura, like health and whatnot. But if you have an enemy on the ground, you can start stomping it and that'll also dismember it. You'll be able to like maybe shoot it a few times, stun it as it falls, do a few stomps, and then that'll also save you ammunition. And it just kind of plays into that whole mechanic the same way. Heck, there are achievements in these games, both of these games, I don't remember if it's in 3, where the more you dismember, the better your achievement. I think you have to dismember like 25,000 something limbs in order to get like the best achievement from that or whatnot. But it's just like, it's crazy watching the body parts fly off left and right as you're running around defending yourself against these monsters. And just a new way that you have to approach combat as compared to previous survival horror games. So this is one of the coolest features that I've ever seen in a game back in 2008. Remember, we're back in 2008 in this when I first started playing this game, and everybody like that got a chance to play it is also starting to experience it for the first time. I think we've seen stuff like this, since then, and then of course the 2023 remake of the game brings it all back, and even more bloody, gory HD factor where it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to the point where I could not even show it on YouTube because they would not like it whatsoever. Hopefully what you're seeing here works for them. But otherwise this is an awesome, awesome system for the game. And it just fits so well into the Dead Space universe. Number 2, in space is a lot scarier than you think it is. Horror in space is very hit or miss. You have some things that do it right, some things that do it wrong. Dead Space, in my opinion, does it right because even though you have space, which is just this endless vast of nothingness where you think there's all of this, space around you, it's very tight. It's very claustrophobic. It's very, creepy in the fact that you are stuck where you are through this entire game. You are just there on the ship. You can't go anywhere. You can move forward and backwards through the tram. Well, at least here you couldn't. I think in the 2023 remake you can, which is really awesome, by the way. But you are stuck where you are on the ship with all of these horrors surrounding you, and there is nothing you can do about it. A movie that actually works this well also is the original Alien, where yes, you're in space. Yes, you're in all this technology and everything, but you're still being hunted by something that can kill you in a moment, and you don't have the right tools to defend yourself. And now, while Isaac does have the right tools to defend himself in here, that doesn't mean everyone else does. Plus, you have to take the idea of the future and darken it up a bit. Like, there are some horror movies out there that are very bright, very colorful, a little bit too over the top in terms of what they think the future was going to be. Like Jason X, for example. Great movie, absolutely ridiculous. Not very scary, especially when you get into the space aspect of it. But in something like the original Alien, again, the movie, or Dead Space, you are in this high-tech vehicle that does not exist as of today, and it's dark, it's scary, it's creepy, the atmosphere is perfect, there's blood on the wall, the lights are all flickering, there's electrical sparks all over the place, the music is fantastic. It's always this very low hum or very low tone and this whispering voice, and just always something that if you're playing with an awesome surround sound, you get this little whisper back here and you're like, what was that? What was that? As a player, it just immerses you completely into the setting. That is one of the things that I absolutely love about Dead Space. It pulls you in immediately. And even though you're, again, in this area that should be all high tech and, automatic open and shut doors. Oh, we can lock this up. We can just move to different areas. You can't. It positions you in a way to make sure that you are always within horror's reach. You are always within the grasp of some evil creature that wants to kill you. And even though you have the means to escape it, there is no guarantee that you will be able to. And even the technology that you use in order to help you every day could end up turning against you and killing you as well. Looking at you, you stupid gravity room. I hate that room. I hate that room so much, but at least it's only in a few parts of the game. I just hope that in the future, other games that are set in space take the same influence and run with it that way. I know Alien Isolation did it great as well. I hope other games within this genre or the series or whatever also take the same inspiration and create in-space games that are absolutely terrifying to play through. Number 3, the atmosphere pulls you in and refuses to let you go. I'm just going to kind of piggyback off of what I was just talking about before and just continue talking about the atmosphere of the Ishimura and just all the different areas that you visit in the game. You visit the medical deck, you visit the docking bay, you visit the barracks, you visit the science area. Each one, what was it, hydroponics? That was a crazy area where all of the plants and everything in order to make sure everyone can breathe, they're there. Every single area of the Ishimura is designed so well in order to be able to pull you in and keep you immersed within the story and the setting of the ship. There were some games that I played, BioShock, for example, where I kept going from new area to new area in Rapture, and there were at one point where I'm just like, how the heck does this even exist? Like, there is just so much down here in such a weird scale that I'm like, how did this even start to even become here? How does this fit within, I know it's a city, and I know that, you know, you kind of have a suspension of disbelief and everything because it's not real, but it just didn't seem to connect and fit. Whereas everything in the Ishimura, as I go from spot to spot in the ship, actually makes sense. The maps themselves are big, but they're not overwhelming. And even though the map structure in the original one is weird to go through, after you kind of ran through the game enough times, you kind of have a mental note about where things are. I ended up really never using the map at all whenever I played the original. I don't even think I did it when I played Dead Space 2 or 3. I did mostly the, you know, push the button, you smash your hand down, you have like the line that goes down and you follow that. And it's like, go that way to your objective. And I'm like, all right, I'm going that way. So it was just really cool exploring the areas and seeing all of the hidden secrets that lie within each one of the areas. There were a few parts of this when you're going and recalibrating the guns in order to stop the asteroid field from coming and destroying the ship. That kind of threw me off a little bit. Like, I get you had to run all the way to the one side of the ship in order to get in and then do what you got to do in order to fire off the cannon and whatnot, but that just seemed a little out of the way. And also it's like, it was that cannon. What I like about the 2023 remake, from what I've seen and everything, they took that concept and kind of expanded on it, where you're moving around in space itself and going from cannon to cannon and recalibrating them, rather than just being like one single cannon defending the entire ship, which I get it for the time. It was the better thing to do, probably limitations on the disc or whatever, and there was already so much to this game. But that's one of the few areas that took me out, because I'm like, how is this one cannon defending the ship? And then later on, you got to go to another cannon in order to fight this giant like monster that's sitting on something. Even the areas of the game where you're running around outside in space itself is done so well. The music in that area, because there is none, it's silent, is just perfect. And every little thing you do is muffled. Now, how Isaac's weapon can still fire in the vacuum of space, I'm not really too sure of that. But it was nice to see the little details that they use whenever you're firing, and it's just like a little rather than the bang that you hear when you're inside. I also really like the zero gravity sections. Yes, they do it better as the games go on, where you're actually flying around these sections rather than just doing a space jump of sorts within this game. 2023 remake does that as well. It's more of a use your boots and everything to kind of fly around rather than just a single wee from one spot to the other. But it's still really cool to see, and it gives this weird disorienting effect where you don't know which way is up, which way is down, and as you jump more and more and more, you're like, all right, where do I gotta go? Where's my exit? How do I gotta get out of here? Oh no, here comes something that's trying to kill me. Basically, no matter what it comes down to, the game is going to pull you right into Isaac's boots and have you feel the same sense of terror that you know he is feeling going through this ship. I also recommend playing this game with the lights off and the sound up, but that's just me. I enjoy that. I enjoy that true immersion into the game. Not anybody can, you know, hold that and sustain that. They like the lights on and being able to look around and like, all right, I'm still at home. That's fine too. However you like to play this game, I stand by it 100% because I feel like this is a game that everybody should play. And I really think everyone should try to get the remake as well, because that just means more Dead Space for the future. And that just means more great content for us all to play. Number 4, Issac Clarke, a silent protagonist who knows more than one way to survive. Isaac's a mechanic. He has no military training. He has no weapons training. He knows how to fix things. He knows how to put together stuff. He knows how to upgrade stuff beyond belief. So how could he destroy or even survive against hordes of monsters? Well, thank gosh for the dismemberment system, because if there's one thing Isaac knows how to do, it's take things apart. You got the plasma cutter, you got the line gun, you got the saw blade, you got the flamethrower, you got the force gun, you got a contact beam, you got all of these different weapons that, when you look at them from an in-universe standpoint, are all used as mechanics tools. Flamethrower in order to weld stuff. The basic plasma rifle is what he uses in order to cut metal or cut other things, you know, in order to put them back together and build them with. I think the pulse rifle is the only thing that he has that is more military based, because it's a rifle, let's be honest with that. The saw blade is just a hovering saw blade that you can use in order to knock down things. All of these tools that were always at Isaac's disposal before this insanity of the Ishimura are now being used in ways that even he's coming up with on the fly. And it's just cool to see new types of weapons like that. You know, you have a standard survival horror game where you have your pistol, your shotgun, your rifle, you know, stuff like that that you're used to seeing in every game. Dead Space takes those conventional ideas of weapons and throws them out and is like, here, why don't you try this out? Why don't you try this really cool piece of machinery? Even the upgrade system in this game, it gets better as the games go on. The upgrade system using the nodes and everything gets more in depth and more intricate as, you know, you go from Dead Space 1 to Dead Space 2 to Dead Space 3, and then ultimately to the remake that I've seen. But even in the original, the node system was really cool because you could pick and choose how you wanted your weapons to upgrade as you go through the game. And the nodes themselves, as much of a limited resource as they were, every time you found one was like, awesome, this is a great thing. What am I going to put it on? And then you go to your benches and you build up however you feel fit to do so. I always recommend building up the stasis and your telekinesis first, and of course your rig in order to get more health. But if you really wanted to go through and make a powerful weapon, the plasma cutter is absolutely amazing in order to build up as strong as it can go. The line gun was usually one of my second favorite guns in the game. And of course, the metal, the blade ripper or whatever it was, the metal blade launcher was absolutely a fantastic tool to mow down enemies that just kept coming at you. Now, I liked him as a silent protagonist here, but I also really liked him when they gave him a voice. Here, it was more of me kind of just playing as him, and then whenever I played the game, I voiced myself to be him and just kind of reacted that way. It was cool seeing his own personality come out in the later games, which was absolutely awesome. A cool move that they did, and I'm glad that actually in the 2023 remake, they gave him the voice as well. So awesome update for the 2023 remake, something new, something different to see, and of course, something to add to the overall lore of the game. Absolutely fantastic. Number 5. The original Dead Space had one of the coolest hidden Easter eggs that I've ever seen. Spoiler alert. So briefly, this had to do with the chapter titles for the original Dead Space. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, and I don't know if they do the same thing in remake or something close to it or whatever, and you don't want to be spoiled by this, jump down to whatever the timestamp is down here in order to be able to skip number 5 and just go right to my final thoughts. And this way you won't have to be spoiled. If you know what I'm talking about, then, you know, just keep watching it. Because again, I don't know if they do this in the 2023 remake. Somebody says they did. Somebody says they didn't. I've seen a few different things. But this is just for the original, all right? This is all I'm talking about is the OG Dead Space and this really cool hidden message that you find as you go through the game. All right, still with me? Awesome. Main goal of Isaac through Dead Space is to find his girlfriend, Nicole. She was part of the team of the Ishimura, and he needs to be on there in order to find her and then get her off because, you know, he loves her and all that cool stuff. I gotta go get her, rescue her, yada, yada, yada. And as he goes through the game, he sees her every so often. She'll pop up on a screen. She'll pop up in the background or something along that ways. And it's always never quite right. It's always very weird, very strange. She also uses the phrase, make us whole again, over and over and over. And as you continue through the game, it just gets more and more creepy and odd and all that crazy stuff. If you take the titles of all of the chapters within Dead Space and then take the first letter of every one of those chapters, you get a hidden message that pretty much tells you all along that Nicole is dead. I thought this was awesome. This was such a cool little thing to find out after you've done played the game, after you've gone back and actually looked at them all and everything. Like the chapter titles were cool anyway. Like they all had something to do with what you had to do in that chapter. And it's like, all right, cool. Chapter titles, great, awesome. You know, I use them all the time for my YouTube videos and everything. It was something to go with it. But then to go back and see that there is this little bit of a not really a spoiler, because come on, you knew that was going to be the case anyway, but just this little bit of a hint as you went through each one that Nicole is dead, slowly but surely becoming more and more of a reality to Isaac was so, so cool. I Actually, I don't even know if I've said this yet. I can't play the 2023 remake yet because I don't have a PlayStation 5. I don't even have an Xbox Series 1. I don't have any of the newer console generations. I'm a huge Sony fan, so I'd be getting a PlayStation 5 eventually. But for right now, I can't actually play it because I don't have the console, nor do I have the money to actually buy it right now. So it's going to be something I don't play for quite a ways away. But by then, all the secrets will probably be found anyway, and it might be a little easier for me to get through it. In any event, I will still be watching it because spoilers don't bother me, and I hope this was something that either you knew about or didn't, or you already knew about it, and you're just like, oh yeah, that's right, I remember that, or whatever. But awesome little Easter egg, little spoiler, little hint to really what the game's ultimate ending was going to be as you went through it chapter by chapter. What I want to know now is what you think of the original Dead Space. What are some of your favorite moments, some of your favorite areas? There wasn't many boss fights, but some really cool monsters and encounters to this. Let me know what you loved, your experiences, things along that ways. How does it compare OG to the 2023 remake? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. And if you just want to talk about the rest of the Dead Space saga, by all means, we could talk about that too. Guys, thank you so much for taking this journey as I reminisce through the original Dead Space. I really do hope it appears on the PlayStation Network sooner than later. I know it's on the Xbox Game Pass, but I want it to be on PlayStation as well, especially with the remake out. I think that would be absolutely amazing and awesome, and hopefully it'll be that way. But if it doesn't, that's okay too, because my PlayStation 3 still works, and I still got these two babies right here that I could just plug in and play at any time. Probably after I'm done recording this. Maybe not, because I think my son's waking up from his nap. Guys, thank you so much. You are absolutely amazing. Remember to always take care of yourselves and each other. We are family forever, gaming together. Always keep your mining tools within reach. You never know where you're going to need to fix an emergency situation or dismember a monster charging at you trying to kill you. Till next time, you guys have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one.